Hey guys, welcome to my 30-minute beginner class today. I am going to be using an open hammock for today's sequence, and we're going to be flowing through a warm-up and then a full sequence where we are going to practice smoothing out our transitions using the open hammock. So let's get started. We're going to stand in front of our hammock. Our feet are going to be a little bit wider than hip width distance apart, just so we've got a nice stable grounding sense within the body to begin. And we're going to check from our feet and all the way up. So checking weight on our feet. Maybe we take that weight a little bit forward, a little bit back into the heels, a little bit forward into the toes, and then try and find that balance between the weight disbursement between the feet, between the toes and the heels, outsides and the insides of the feet. Noticing if you can balance that out. Let's take a deep breath in, raise the shoulders up to the ears, and then exhale, lift the chest and then tuck the pelvis, engage that core. Notice as you engage that core, it lifts up the kneecaps a little bit. What we want to do with those kneecaps is to keep them nice and soft. So if we're locking them out, let's bring a nice softness to them, a little micro bend, just so that the muscles are taking the weight of the body and not our joints, and keep them safe. Let's take another deep breath in, roll the shoulders up, and lift the heart as we exhale, and tuck the pelvis, engage the core as we exhale, settling into the body. On this next inhale, we're going to raise those shoulders up again, feeling out any crinks and cracks on the shoulders. And then exhale, lift the heart, tuck the pelvis, and then we're going to open up those hands towards the front of our space. Let's start to inhale, our hands come up high. And then exhale, we're going to open up the elbows, cactusing the arms. We squeeze the shoulder blades together and lift the heart. What's important here is we're not bowing into that lower back. We're keeping the pelvis tucked, core engaged, lifting the heart only. So the back bend is in our upper body, not in our lower body. Let's inhale, reach those hands up. We're going to come into a small spinal twist. So we're going to reach and open up our arms towards the left. And then inhale, coming back to center. Cactus the arms, bend the elbows, tighten that core, squeeze the shoulder blades. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, twisting open to the other side. Noticing the hips stay in one line, so we're not twisting open through the hips, only the shoulders are twisting open. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, cactus the arms one more time each side. Inhale, reach up. Warming up the shoulders, ready for the practice. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms, last twist here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist open towards the right. And then inhale, reach up, and we're coming back to center. We're going to take a little step back towards the hammock and find an open hammock. So bring that hammock open. We're going to place our hands about 2 feet inside of the hammock on both sides. So you might need to find that edge of the hammock. Widen out the hands here until the hammock is taut behind the shoulders. Palms are face up, so we're also stretching the wrist a little bit here. I've got an American accent suddenly. Let's inhale, place those shoulders down the back, tuck the core, find those alignment landmarks, finding that equal weight disbursement between the feet. And inhale, grow long in the spine. Exhale, let's take a little twist here. Twisting as far as you can as we keep that pelvis tucked, core engaged. And then inhale, back through center. Exhale, let's twist the other direction as far as you can, lifting up that opposite heel. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, we twist. One more time. Inhale, back through center. And exhale, we twist. Rinsing out the spine, meeting back in center. We're going to place our shoulders inside of the hammock, coming into a chair pose variation here with an open hammock. So we might need to bend our elbows in towards us so we can control that hammock a little bit. Grabbing onto that front edge. Start to lower your torso, your upper body, into the hammock. Bringing nice open shoulders, reach up high. The whole arms are encapsulated in the hammock. So from my midsection of my back all the way to my fingertips are in the hammock. Let's take an inhale here, just settle in, noticing if you need to make any changes to the hammock, where it is on the body. Finding an open breath through the chest. We're going to straighten our legs. Feet are about hip width distance apart. So noticing where they need to be. And we're going to press our hips up towards the sky, tightening the glutes. Open up through the chest, inhale, exhale, tighten that core. We're going to take a little sway here from side to side. So let's open up the side body, reaching over the top towards our right. Inhale back through center, reaching over the top towards the left. Inhale through center, swaying towards the right. And then again through the center and back towards the left. So you'll notice here as we sway back and forth with your breath that you need to really focus on pressing those hips up high. And we're also engaging the sides of our core, our obliques, as we also stretch those obliques on the other side. And take a soft knee here if the knees are calling out to you. Let's take one more sway. We'll meet back and center. Meeting back and center. Let's take a bend in the knees. We're going to engage the core a little bit, maybe take a little step forward, just so we're kind of underneath that plumb line. We're not sort of feeling like we're going to swing too much. We're going to lift up our left knee towards our chest to float that left heel. Notice that the core starts to engage. We also need to strongly keep pressing those hips up, engage the glutes, and tuck that pelvis so we're not swaying our lower back towards the ground. Tuck that pelvis up. Take an inhale here as we lift that knee. Exhale, let's lower that knee down, bringing that heel towards the glute and behind. And then inhale, raise that knee up, keeping a bent leg here. And then exhale, lower that leg, keeping that bent shape. And then raising it back up. So noticing that the hips are still pressing up towards the sky. Shoulders are relaxed, relax that jaw. We'll take two more like this, keeping that knee bent, engaging that core, pressing the hips up. One more breath, one more round. Inhale, reach that knee up, and then place it on the ground. We'll do the other side. Inhale that right knee up, float that right heel, and then exhale, press it behind, reaching it towards the glute as far as you can. Then inhale, raise it up towards the chest. Exhale, bring it behind towards the glute. That's it, keeping stable through the body. Noticing where you're feeling it. Can you adjust the muscles so that you're feeling it where you need to in that core, in the glute, the thigh. Let's take 3 more rounds. Keep breathing, opening up through the shoulders. Noticing if you're twisting that leg open to reach it behind you. Can you close the hip? Keep that knee on one straight line. Taking one more round here. Exhale behind you. Inhale, reach that knee up, placing it back on the ground. We're going to tuck that chin into the chest so we can look where we're going. Move slowly because the hammock might make you feel a little bit disorientated as you bring the head out of the hammock. We're going to reach up high on that front edge of the hammock. Leave that, the hammock that's behind you. We don't need to worry about that right this second. We're going to stretch our legs a little bit. So inhale, let's lift up that left heel. Pull up through the chest, through the arms. Okay, so we're placing our toes behind us. So my right leg is forward, left leg is behind. Reaching up high on that front edge of the hammock. What we're looking for here is stretching in left hip flex. I'm doing opposite to you, so to remember my opposite, right and left. We're going to inhale, reach up long through the spine and tuck that pelvis under. And then dip that knee down, which should increase the stretch in that hip flexor of that back leg. Inhale, straighten the leg. Grow long through the spine and exhale, dip the leg down. Inhale, straighten the leg. Reach long through the spine and exhale, dip the knee down. Hover. Inhale, reach up. One last time, exhale, hover. Inhale, reach up. We're going to reach up high again. And we're going to come through a hamstring stretch here. So that front leg is going to straighten and the toes are going to lift up. Press down with that back heel. Start to lean the chest forward. And we're pulling that hip, pulling the heel back towards us so that the hip comes into a straight line. Inhale long. Can you dip that chest down a little bit more? Find more length in that hamstring. If you're super flexible here, you may not be feeling that much, which is okay. We're going to work on that in just a second. One more breath here, feeling into the back of that front leg, the hamstring. Let's start to plant that front foot down. We're going to bring our shoulders back into the hammock as we sweep our back leg up. We're going to challenge ourselves here, so we're going to straighten that leg as high as we can and hold. And you might be looking like you might be needing to lower that leg down here or even here, noticing how high can you get your leg so that you can hold it. How high? Will those hips press down? Let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to place that ankle on top of our opposite knee. So that left leg is on top of the right knee. And we're feeling into the outside of our top leg. So into that, I can't bring my shoulder out or I'll slip out. But on this leg, on the outside of that leg. And you may take a little sway here from side to side, feeling into that outside of the leg, into that big muscle, glute, sciatica. Take nice long breaths. We're going to move through that same thing on the other side. So taking one last breath here, finding any movements and wriggles that might feel good for your body to open up through the hip. Let's place that foot back down onto the ground. We're going to sweep that opposite foot, so our right foot is going to raise up, pull up with the hammock, so that we can lift out of the hammock a little bit, reach up high, grabbing that front edge. And we're here in our lunge, high lunge position. Noticing that front knee is over the ankle, over that middle toe. We're going to dip our knee down 3 times. So we're going to tuck that pelvis, dip the knee down to float, and then straighten it up. Dip it down to float, hover, straighten it out, filling into that back hip flexor of the back leg. Breathing through this. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, we straighten. That was the last one. Let's do one more. Inhale, lower it down. Exhale, bring it back up. Reaching up high. We're going to straighten our front leg. Press that back heel down, lift up the front toes. We're here in a variation of pyramid pose here in our yoga poses. Feeling into that front hamstring of the front leg. Pulling that heel back towards you. Big inhale, long through the spine. Exhale, can you dip that chest down just a little bit more? Tightening that core all the time. Taking one last breath here. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, dip it down. Let's start to plant that front foot onto the ground. Bring our shoulders back into the hammock while we sweep that back leg behind us to plant on top of the bent leg in front of us. So we're in this figure 4 shape. That right ankle is on top of the left knee. Flexing that toe on that top leg. Feeling into the outside of our top leg, right leg. Taking any wiggles here that might feel good for you. Twisting the hips over to one side, lowering that knee to deepen the stretch. And if you're not feeling anything here, that's okay. You can play with that wiggle sensation until you feel some sort of stretch happening. And this could be enough for you here. You could be feeling it here, and that's okay as well. Let's take one more breath here, opening up through the outside of that hip, through the leg, the outside of the thigh. Noticing if that pelvis tucks, can you create more of a stretch with those micro movements, micro adjustments? Pressing down that heel as knee as we tuck the pelvis. Let's start to plant both feet down onto the ground. Lifting up, we're going to come into standing. Keep the hammock, keep the hands inside of the hammock. We're going to press our hands out wide again, inside of an open hammock. And we're going to try and get that front edge on the front of our shoulders. So we may need to play around with that a little bit. And then we're going to walk as far forward as we can. So walking forward until we can feel our shoulders opening up. So you might be feeling almost like a nerve sensation between the fingertips to the shoulders. If it gets too intense, come out by walking backwards. And just notice where your edge is, breathing into that edge, into that tension, allowing your body to get used to the sensation as you gently and slowly move your chest forward. And we're not bringing all of our weight into our arms, not like aeroplane pose if you've done a bit of aerial yoga before. Just opening through the shoulders a little bit, so that we can kind of forget what's happening in the arms. Let's do a little bit of calf raises, raising up the heels. So looking ahead, tuck that pelvis, shoulders are down the back, press the chest forward, slowly, gently. And we're going to slowly raise up our heels, so coming onto our toes, inhale. Exhale, slowly with control, lower the heels down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, raise the heels up. Exhale, lower the heels down. Inhale, raise the heels up, tuck that pelvis. Exhale, lower the heels down. And we're going to bring our chin into our chest. So keep the heels down, chin into the chest. Notice that if you've got tension in your neck and shoulders, this is going to bring in another sensation into that shoulder opening. Bring that chest down, the chin down. So continue opening up through the chest, pressing the chest gently forward, opening up through the shoulders. We're here for another 2 breaths. Allow the shoulders to open. You might be feeling a little bit of numbness in the fingertips. Let's finish that last breath, and gently, slowly, we're going to walk out. So walking backwards, closing down the arms. Take a little wriggle or shake if you need to, feeling into the fingertips again. We're going to come inside of the hammock for our sequence now. So that was our warm up. Let's come inside the hammock for our sequence. So we're going to press down on that front edge of the hammock, bring our sit bones inside. Stretch that hammock behind the knees. We're going to come all the way inside of the hammock. So you may not see me, so hopefully my cueing and guidance will help you get through this. Otherwise, you may need to, we're going to do this a couple of times, so you may need to watch the first time round and then join me for the second time. Up to you, however you want to practice. So we're going to stretch that back edge of the hammock all the way behind us so that our hands are within the hammock. We're going to stretch that front edge of the hammock until our whole body is inside of the hammock for our cocoon. Now for squatting frog, or I think it's sometimes called star, which is our first pose, we can have the heels and side toes out, or as we move through this, the toes are probably going to come inside of the hammock, which is fine. So for our first squatting frog, we're going to keep the toes outside, heels inside. So toes outside, heels inside. The edge of the hammock is around the arch of our foot. Let's start to bend the heels into the glutes and bring the knees wide. Inhale, we're going to pull up our shoulders first, and then grab the whole bunch of the hammock, and then pull strongly up, keeping the knees wide, and the hips are going to press forward slightly. So this could be enough for you here. You're feeling a deep stretch in the inner thighs and inner hips. We're going to bring that back edge of the hammock through the middle and then around the front. Through the middle, around the front. Find that back edge. And the hammock is nice and taut behind the shoulders. So inhale, grow long through the spine here. Exhale, opening up through the hips. If it gets too much, you'll need to sink your hips back, coming back into the hammock, which we're going to do in just 1 second. So from here, from our star or our squatting frog here, we're going to bring our arms in close to our body, start to lean forward so that we can then drop our hips back, which is a little bit of a, I don't know if it looks super graceful. It's pretty quick. So we're back in the hammock, keeping hold of that back edge. We're going to come into our inverted cobra next. So start to slide the hands down, lower the shoulders down until we're in our inversion. For inverted cobra, if you feel safe, you can release here, but only if you feel safe. So the hammock is on the lower back, and then I can release my hands out wide to the front. And to the front is going to be harder on the core, so I suggest going out wide. Reaching back onto the hammock, look where you're going, chin to chest, climb up. And I'm going to keep going. We're going to do the entire sequence. We'll do it 2 times on both sides. So we're going to choose our left leg first. So raise up that left leg in the hammock, and we're going to bring it to the opposite side of the hammock. So I'm going to keep holding on with my left hand. Left leg is going to come over and across the body onto the right side of the hammock. So hopefully you can see me. And then we're going to reach out long with our free hand. And we're going to swap sides. So that free hand is going to reach up high onto the left side of the hammock. So I swap sides and reach long with my opposite hand. So my left hand reaches long, right hand is gripping. So opposite grip on the knee and the hand. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, bring that leg that's inside of the hammock still towards the glute and grab with the hand. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, grabbing that hammock again, swapping grip. So we're grabbing both sides of the hammock to lift that leg back through the center, and then bring that leg to knee lock on the same side of the hammock. So we're working on the different muscles in that leg that's in the hammock. We're gonna come from that straight parallel position, widen out the leg into a straddle position. So the top of the foot is gonna come towards my face, and I can do an opposite hand grip here again. If your neck is getting sore, come up so you can release it. So my left hand is going to grab onto the right side of the fabric, and I'm going to straddle that leg out wide, releasing my free hand, so my right hand, and then coming back through center, release both legs through the middle of the fabric. We're then going to lift the torso up so I can grab the back edge of the hammock, and we can spread it out wide so that I can bring my head back inside of it. I'm going to twist my body to the left, so I'm laying on my side, so laying on the side of my body. Inhale, reach up high and long through my fingers and toes, and then I'm going to bring my knees and elbows in together, so coming into a ball shape, and then I'm going to straighten them out in front of me, so like an L, and then widen them out into a straight line again, into my cocoon, and maybe arch the back a little bit if we're feeling that core needs to be stretched. And then bring into a ball, so elbows and knees in together. Stretch them out long, and then wave them back through a straight line. One more time, knees and elbows come together for a ball shape. Straighten them out long, and coming back into that straight line. So from here, we're going to twist back onto our back, so our hips are facing the ceiling. We're going to take a little bit of a scooch back in the hammock so we can bring more edge to our foot. So we've got about a foot or two of free hammock of slack in front of our feet. Whoop. We're going to come into a kneeling shape. So I'm bringing my torso up, tucking my knees into the chest, grab the entire bunch of the fabric, coming into this kneeling shape. This is a long sequence. We're going to go over it a couple of times, don't worry. And from here, we can grab that back edge of the fabric, make sure that it's still not wound together, and come into this shape here. We're then going to come into standing, so grabbing that back edge of the hammock up high, coming to standing, tucking that core, making sure that our pelvis is tucked, core engaged. We're going to continue doing that right side first. So I'm going to grab that right side of the fabric, that back edge, bring it through the middle, and we can make an arm sweeping motion here. So make it look like we're doing this on purpose, which we are. And we're going to bring our right foot into that right edge of the fabric that we've brought through the middle. So bringing that right foot, the foot that's closest to that edge we've brought through, inside of the fabric. So we've got a slack between this foot and the edge of the hammock, as well as, so both feet, I've got slack between the foot and the edge of the hammock. Bringing shoulders behind the hammock, grabbing up around the crown of our head. We're going to pull up as we press down with that right foot, so that we can find an even space between both feet, or a level space, I should say. You'll notice here, if you can notice, that there's a cross section on my lower back where the hammock is sitting. So my glutes are behind this tension point that's around the midsection of my back. So you may need to dip the hips down a little bit. My shoulders are still on the back of the hammock. We're going to take a breath here, and then we're going to bring our grip to that back edge of the hammock that's closest to us. Push back with the chest so we can bring the elbows through. Don't change the hand grip. So my palms are face away from me. So we're not coming here. We're facing the palms away. The hand is on the palms are face forward. I'm going to slip my shoulders to the front of the hammock. So my feet have still got me. I've got no weight in my hands yet. And then I slide down the hammock, lowering my hips. So this could be a deeper straddle stretch on the inner thighs for you here. That's okay. That's probably what it's meant to feel like, right? Inhale, grow long through the spine, shoulders are away from the ears still. And then exhale, we're going to bring those feet together, keeping them straight. Like butterfly wings, we inhale, open them up, straddle. Exhale, close them down. Inhale, open them up. More weight is coming into my hands now as we move the legs so that I can feel safe. And open them out. One last time, inhale. Exhale, open them up. We're going to bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet into the hammock. So bending the knees here. So my soles of the feet are in the hammock so I can stand up, pull up, and bring the shoulders on the back side of the hammock again. We're going to come out of this. So same way we came in, I bring all my weight into that onto my right foot. That left foot that's in the hammock. I might have got my lefts and rights mixed up, I apologize. That foot that last came into the hammock is going to meet into that front edge, the original front edge. So both feet meet into where they came from. And then we're going to grab that back edge of the hammock again, unwind that left side. And we're going to come down with control and slowly so that our hips, we make sure that those hips are staying inside the hammock. We can come all the way down in our inverted cobra again, sliding the hands down, lowering the shoulders. And then exhale, turn into the chest, coming back into center, we kick the legs out. We're coming into our end pose. Okay, so that's our entire sequence. We're going to practice that on the other side. And then we're going to do that a little bit quicker on the other side, and then again on both sides. So 3 more times. So coming into that starting position, into our cocoon shape, we bring the legs inside, bring our head inside, lowering down, laying down inside of the fabric. So maybe this time we keep the toes inside of the hammock. We're coming through for that squatting frog first. Reaching the hands up, bring the soles of the feet together, heels in, knees wide, raise the torso up, shoulders over hips, grab the bunch of the hammock, lifting up, so hips are over the heels, lean the hips forward slightly. We're going to grab that back edge of the hammock, reach it through the middle, opening up wide. So we're here in our squatting frog or star pose. Take an inhale here, exhale. We're going to lower the hips back down into the hammock where we came from. So closing the arms, lean forward slightly, and then we're going to drop down into the hammock. And then come into our inversion. So we'll slide the hands down, inhale, inverted cobra. Widen the hands here if you feel safe. Tuck the chin into the chest, raise the torso up, engage that core. We're going to bring that opposite leg. So our right leg raises up, reaches across the hammock. So opposite side of the hammock, it crosses across the body. We reach long, and then we swap sides with our hand grip. So opposite hand grips the hammock. Reach long again. Exhale, close the heel, grab the foot. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, both hands grab the hammock. Foot comes back through center, and then locks onto the same side of the hammock. So right foot is on the right side of the hammock, knee lock. We then reach across the body, so opposite hand grip. Widen the straight leg in the hammock for a straddle shape. Coming back to center, grabbing both sides of the hammock. We're going to pull ourselves up and make sure that those feet are inside of the hammock. Tucking into a ball, so knees into chest, grabbing the whole length of the fabric. Bring the knees out, reaching up. We're going to do this shape first, so we know that that back edge of the hammock is still there. So widening out the hands, finding that back edge of the hammock. Reach up, lift up, coming into standing. So opposite side this time. We're going to find that back edge of the hammock we just had. Bring it through the center, through the middle of the hammock. Maybe we sweep that arm out so we look like we know what we're doing. Bringing weight into our left leg. Right leg comes into that edge that we just brought through. We've got a nice gap between the edge of the foot, sorry, edge of the hammock and the foot. We're going to bring our shoulders behind, grip onto the hammock, step down, and start to lower the glutes, lifting the legs slightly. Take a little wiggle action here so that that low cross section is on that middle section of the back. Take an inhale here. Exhale. We're going to lean the shoulders back, gripping onto the hammock, keeping those palms face away, so grip is fingers outside, thumbs up. Start to slide the shoulders down, leaning into the hammock with the glutes. We're going to take an inhale here in our low straddle position. Exhale, bring the feet together. Inhale, widen the legs. Exhale, close it down. Inhale, widen the legs. And exhale, close it down. Inhale, widen. We're going to bend the legs, so coming into a squat type shape, pulling up. Bring the shoulders on the other side of the hammock, coming out the same way we got in. Bring all that weight into the original foot, so that front edge, lifting that right foot out of the hammock, bring it into the same edge of that front foot. Unwind the hammock, grabbing both back edges of the fabric, and then lowering down the hips inside of the fabric, and slide the hands down, inverted cobra option. Take an inhale, exhale, feel the chest, reach up. And we're going to walk the feet out, coming into our end pose. Okay, so we're going to do that again one more time on each side, and then our class will be finished. So coming with me, starting in that cocoon shape, come inside. So reaching, walking the feet back inside the hammock, and the head inside. We're going to come into that squatting frog shape first. So reaching up, find that back edge, bring the heels into the glutes, knees wide. Reach up, grab the whole of the hammock, pull up, shoulders over hips. Grab that back edge and bring it to the front for our squatting frog. Inhale here, take a moment. And then exhale, we're going to come into that ball shape with the torso, elbows tucked in, and then send the hips back. Inverted cobra, send the shoulders down and back. Take an inhale here. Lift up, use that core. We're going to bring that left foot up and across the body to lock onto the hammock. Swap the grip. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, heel into the glute, grab the foot. Inhale, reach long. And then exhale, both hands grip the fabric, coming out wide, so knee lock onto the same side of the fabric, onto the left side. Reach long, grab opposite side, so we can reach towards that foot for a straddle shape. Inhale long, coming back to center. We're going to kick those feet away from us a little bit so we've got an edge to the fabric. Let's bring the knees into the chest, grabbing the whole bunch of the fabric. Bring the knees through so we sit on our heels, kneeling. Find that back edge of the hammock. So we're here in this kneeling shape first. Take an inhale, exhale. Shoulders down the back. Reach up high, lift up, coming to standing. We're going to find that back edge of the hammock. Bring it through the middle. Sweep the hand out. So we're doing it on purpose. Bring that foot that's closest to that edge that you've just brought through into the hammock. Shoulders behind, step down, widen the legs by pulsing them up a little bit so you can get the glute below that X. Inhale, exhale, widening the arms behind the hammock. If you feel safe to do so, you can release. We're then going to grab onto the hammock, push the chest back so we can bring those elbows through the middle, and then start to slide the body down, leaning into the fabric. We're here in our low straddle shape. Inhale, then exhale, bring the feet together, keeping them straight. Inhale, widen the legs. Exhale, feet together. Inhale, widen the legs. Exhale, feet together. Inhale, widening the legs. We're then going to come into that squat shape, so bringing the heels in towards the glute, soles of the feet in the hammock, pull up. Shoulders come onto the back side of the fabric again. Bring all that weight back into your right leg. Both feet meet in that right side, matching the right leg. Unwind that back edge of the fabric so that both back edges on the back side again. Grabbing that back edge, we lower down slowly and carefully into the hammock and slide the hands down for our inverted cobra. And then exhale to the chest, kick the feet out, coming to our end pose. Okay, one more time on the right side. Okay, starting in that starting position. So feet inside, cocoon, bring the head inside. Finding a comfortable cocoon shape here. Take a breath here, reset. Last time, last round. Let's start to come into that squatting frog shape. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, knees come out wide, lift up, grabbing the back edge of the hammock, lift the torso up first, grabbing the whole of the fabric, we pull all the way up into our squatting frog shape. Lean the hips forward slightly, bring that back edge through the middle, out wide for our full squatting frog. Opening up through the hips, inhale. And then exhale, bring the elbows in, lean forward, and then drop the hips down into the fabric. And exhale, inverted cobra. Maybe we release, option. When we come out, grip onto the fabric and then chin to chest. Lift up, use that core. We're going to bring that right leg out long, lift it up towards the face, lock it on the opposite side of the fabric. So across the body, opposite hand is going to grip. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, heel into the glute, grab the foot. Inhale, grow long. And then exhale, bring that foot back through center, gripping both sides. And then onto the same side, so locking out onto the same side. Opposite hand grips, opposite side of the fabric. Inhale, grow long. And then exhale, reach towards the foot, lift the foot up towards the face for a straddle shape. Inhale, grow long. Bringing both hands onto the fabric again. Send the leg back into the hammock. We're going to kick that fabric away from us a little bit so we've got a slack at the edge. Bring our knees into the chest, grabbing the whole bunch of the fabric, bring the knees out so we sit on our heels. Find that shape, that kneeling shape, using the back edge of the hammock to frame. Shoulders away from the ears. Find your breath here. Big inhale, exhale. And then inhale, we reach up, pull up. We're going to do that opposite side. So we're going to have the right side, that right wing. It's going to come through the center and out wide. Maybe we sweep that arm out. Raise up that right foot, send it into the hammock. Bring your shoulders on the back side of the hammock. Press the feet down. Widening the feet as we squish the butt underneath that cross section. You can start to feel that glute start to fire up a little bit more now. Inhale, grow long. Maybe release the hammock. Find some pretty arms here. And we're going to grab onto the fabric, push the chest back so we can squeeze those elbows through the center and start to slide the torso down. Flexing the feet, inhale, and exhale, bring the feet together. Inhale, widen. Exhale, close it down. Inhale, widen 3 times. Exhale, close it down. Last one, inhale. And then we're going to bring the feet, soles of the feet into the hammock and pull up strongly. So we can bring the shoulders on the back side of the hammock, coming out the same way we got in. Bring all that weight into that left foot, bring the right foot out. Send it to meet the left foot in the front edge. Unwind that back edge to the back side. Grabbing the back edge of the hammock. With control, we send the hips back down into the hammock and slide the hands down for an inverted cobra option. Chin to chest, look up. And then we walk the feet out of the hammock into our seated shape, which is the end of the sequence. So we did that twice on both sides. I invite you to continue practicing the sequence, practicing smoothing out those transitions. Maybe play a song so that you can dance it out a little bit. Thank you so much for joining my class today. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel And also I have a Aerial Yoga Life program, which is a 25-day program, which you can join if you want to go more in depth into your practice and have me as a personal mentor. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you next week in next week's class.